Most people want to know how a story ends before they fully commit to it. We want clarity before we move forward, assurance before we take a step. Uncertainty makes us pause. It makes us hesitate. It invites questions we would rather avoid. Yet, throughout the pages of the Bible, many of the most meaningful journeys begin without answers. They begin not with certainty, but with trust. This is a reflection on one of those journeys, a story where the destination was unknown, the details were unclear, and yet the decision to move forward changed everything. There was a man living a settled life. His days were familiar. His surroundings were known. Nothing in his routine suggested that change was necessary. And then came a quiet invitation. It was not accompanied by a map. There was no explanation of where the road would lead or how long the journey would take, only a simple call to leave what was familiar and move toward something unseen. For many, such a request would feel unreasonable. To leave stability without knowing the outcome seems risky, even unwise. Yet the man listened. His name was Abraham. He did not step forward because every detail was clear. He stepped forward because trust outweighed certainty. He carried no guarantee of success, only the belief that the call itself had meaning. The journey unfolded slowly. Each step revealed only what was necessary for that moment. The destination remained distant and undefined. There were days when the road felt long, nights when questions lingered, moments when doubt could easily have taken root. Still, Abraham continued, not because the path was easy, but because he chose trust over reassurance. Trust is often misunderstood. It is not the absence of doubt, nor is it confidence in outcomes we can predict. In this story, trust appears as movement without full understanding. It shows itself in willingness rather than certainty. Abraham's journey reminds us that faith does not always offer explanations in advance. Sometimes it asks for obedience before clarity arrives. The uncertainty was not a flaw in the story. It was the very space where trust was formed. Step by step, without seeing the full picture, Abraham learned to move forward anyway. Many people today recognize this tension. There are decisions that must be made without guarantees, choices that involve risk, change, or letting go of what feels secure. It may be a career shift without assurance of success, a relationship step taken without knowing how it will unfold, a season of transition where the future feels unclear. This story does not promise easy outcomes. Instead, it offers a quiet reminder that trust often begins before clarity. For many, faith grows not when answers are given, but when steps are taken despite uncertainty. The path may remain unclear for a time, yet movement itself can become an act of trust. Trusting without knowing the outcome is rarely comfortable. It asks for patience, humility, and courage. This story invites reflection rather than resolution. It reminds us that certainty is not always required for faith to move forward. If you find yourself standing at the edge of an unknown decision, this reflection offers gentle reassurance. Trust does not demand a clear destination. Sometimes it simply asks for the next step. And as the story continues, meaning is often found along the way.